The views and opinions expressed on this program do not reflect the company, owners, management, staff, clients, or partners.
It's Monday, the 10th day of April, 2023. Welcome to Bermuda's Daily Talk Show. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House and Lindos. I'm Jamal Hartman. She's Sherry Vanderpool, and Maya Palacio will be with us in a bit to bring you the latest in her news break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. Sister Sherry, how are you?
Good morning, Jamal. How are you?
Well, I'm wonderful. I didn't get to speak to you prior to the show. Little situations over this side. How about yourself? You had a good fish cake weekend?
Oh, I did. I did, Jamal. I just happened to be part of a Christian company. And so we had Good Friday off. So I was very excited about that. Although I listened to trap music on my way to work,
Oh, okay. He then benefited from a Christian holiday. We got like that sometimes, Sister Sherry.
You would.
Yeah. Self-confessed, admitted. Sister Sherry, did you cook any fish cakes?
I sure did. I cooked about 30 of them, actually.
Okay. Sister Sherry, I've never tasted your cooking.
I know, because you're not been here to taste it, but my cooking is quite divine.
Sister Sherry, there's a thing called, people used to FedEx like food, like, to friends and family. I mean, if you cared that much, you could say, you know what, Brother Jamal's done there. Let me send him a little something, and little care, what they call it, care package.
So sometimes when things don't happen, that's a decision and a choice. I don't know if I cared that you had any or whatever. I thought you was gonna have some of those mixed peel.
I had some fish cakes and they were good. All right, so
they weren't wow. So then that's the difference.
Yeah, that's between you and Nikki, but I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't think Nikki's was wow. I'm sorry. I did that.
You can have that out with her. As far as hot cross buns, like I said to you all, I usually would go to Whole Foods and get. I don't like to call them hot cross buns because they have mixed peel in them. But
how are you eating that?
Well, I went to because the grocery stores were closed yesterday. I didn't know. I mean, I guess I'm living. I didn't know. Whole Foods was open, so I went to Whole Foods and I was asking, the bakery people, do they have any hot cross buns? And everyone's like, "What's that?" Da, da, da. And I realized something fast. Don't take offense to what. Well, actually, I don't care if you take offense to it. Not the first thing I'd say you would take offense to. But I don't think the Caucasians in the bakery section quite understand what the Caribbean folks that are usually there do. So my thing, I'm thinking is that the Caribbean people who would usually be in the bakery section are no longer there, and the Caucasians ain't really down or know what's up. Even though the Caribbean folks let us down and put mixed peel in there while they're working, they're probably just doing as they were told. So, yeah.
Nasty. No, I get a recipe from my stepmom, and for her fish cakes, and I haven't mastered it yet, but I'm close. So they're really good. And then my cousin, who's Bermudian, that lives out here, Tanisha, I put in my order. She's the baker. Put in my order a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, and pick those up Thursday. So I was, pulled it together.
Showing right off. Bermudians in Atlanta, you know what to do next year. Good morning to you. Happy Monday, Tanya Cheeseman, traveling Trotty, and a happy. Where did you travel this weekend, Trotty? And Jamaica Smith, happy Monday and good morning to you as well. Folks, greetings everyone, and thanks for making us part of your daily routine. A good one today as we discuss what are Bermuda's most valuable assets. This is an interesting question because it comes from just having general conversations with people outside of Bermuda regularly. I mean, I know, Sherry, you've probably faced these silly questions about Bermuda Triangle and other homes, huts, and did they really wear high socks and shorts and stuff like that. So I think it's an important conversation for us to have. Some people say we're only as strong as our weakest link. Some people say we're only going to go as far as our most valuable assets. Let's have this conversation today. The daily players are who said it. Yeah, who said it, folks? Yeah,
I haven't been here on a Monday in quite some time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what Sancho's record's like on this. I'm thinking it's pretty Sherry-like. Folks, don't forget to subscribe on our website and follow us on our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. But let's jump straight into it. Well, let's go traveling Trotty. She says, this weekend I did cliff jumping. It didn't happen unless we see it on video. It didn't happen unless we see it on unedited video. So Trotty, unless you have some video to send us for proof, it didn't happen. Okay.
But she just threw that out there. Like, she didn't go, on a boat ride. She went cliff jumping.
Yeah.
Who does that?
Maybe that's a valuable asset Bermuda's got. But I mean, we don't believe it until we see it. I mean, if I can wear my what's that thing called I put on my head when I was jogging? The GoPro. If I can wear my GoPro and show you that a rabbit was beating me today, then yeah, you all can wear a GoPro and you're doing cliff jumping. All right. She says it's a video on Instagram. Well, you need to give us the Instagram handles, Traveling Trotty. You need to give us. Good morning to you, Karen. Karen Simmons had a wonderful Easter dinner with her family, big family.
Yeah.
All you feed all those people. Gee. Yeah. So look, hope you all had a great weekend, but we've got to get right back to business. And the business of this morning is, what are Bermuda's most valuable assets? What do you think are Bermuda's most valuable assets? We asked the question on Instagram, and a lot of people were saying it's people. I remember some years ago, I met with a now former premier of Bermuda while they were sitting in office, and I asked that same question to the sitting premier. What do you think Bermuda's most valuable assets are? And the same answer was consistent with much of what we got on Instagram, which it's people. But the same premier then said to me, we need to find a way to export our best assets. So I'm like, are we talking about, you just said our best assets are our people. Exporting our, maybe I was lost. To this day, I don't know what that meant, honestly. I'm being very real with you. But I read out, maybe you're just as confused, and maybe I should return to that premier to see if they remember saying that and what they meant for it, because I don't like to leave places wondering. But I'll never forget, we were having lunch, and I've had, I don't want to say privilege, because I don't really think premiers are nothing to be proud of, but I've had lunch with pretty much most of the last few premiers, and I must say I love to ask questions like that, because I don't believe you should be in a position of leadership, especially political leadership, without understanding or knowing what Bermuda's most valuable assets are. And we're not talking about we're not the banking way, right? Systemically, oh well, our homes are worth this much. No, we're talking about when people think of Bermuda, what has the most value to them? So that's your question of the morning, folks. What do you think? What are Bermuda's most valuable assets? What are Bermuda's most valuable assets? And follow it up. How can we use those assets to our advantage?
Well, what's interesting, Jamal, is that even for myself, when you posed this question to me the other day, I was sitting there thinking, like, what is it? And that for me was a problem within itself, for the simple fact that it coming to me didn't come right away. And then I did think about it more, and I was like, it definitely has to be us as a people. But I feel like that's going to be is slowly dying out as well, because if we don't nurture and take care of our people, how can our people be the most valuable asset that the island has? So it's a difficult question. It definitely is something that we struggle with at times, because we're trying to figure out how can this valuable asset be utilized. And when it's not being utilized and taken care of the best way, then does it still an asset? So with that being said, I would just have to say to people, I would say, let's go to Charles, um, to the audience, and say, Charles H. Jeffrey says he was being prolific, as we are now exporting our people at an alarming rate. Charles, are we not? And that exporting that our people at an alarming rate would be have to be everybody going to the UK or just leaving the island, period. And I understand that. Traveling Truddy indicates that our most valuable assets as the people are the people and the ocean. I have to agree with Traveling Truddy in regards to that, because the one thing that I miss when I'm out here in Atlanta is definitely the ocean. But we can't we can't export the ocean differently. Let me stop laughing to myself. But you can't export the ocean, nor can we export our people. But those are very valuable assets that are very valuable to Bermuda. So I'm gonna actually bring in Maya and to add to this conversation. What would you think is our most valuable assets, Maya?
It's so hard to say, because when the question was posed, I was thinking, okay, we don't really have like natural resources that we can give. The thing that we used to export was what, onions back in the day, and like there's nothing really that can give us that type of revenue that other people truly like export in other countries that can say like, yes, we get this from Bermuda.
Right.
So what is our most valuable asset? At the current moment, if you're talking like financially and what we get in our revenue, is the people, is our taxes. That's the most valuable thing we have on the island. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, like that's not going to sustain us at all. So yeah, we need to look outward. I'm thinking gardening, farmers, our crops, like we can actually like have a harvest all year round if we want to. So that's,
Really?
yeah, like that's something that I would probably say, because our weather isn't horrible. Like it doesn't get too like freezing cold, like no snow. So that could be a valuable asset, the fact that we have like our gardens, but I don't know what we can export because we're so small.
Right. And for me, I've thought about gardening before, and for me, it's like, do we have enough to export and enough to take care of our island at the same token? Can we produce enough? Because I've thought about that before.
I feel like, and this is probably going far fetched, but I feel like because we're such a small island, and if we did focus on like harvesting our own, making our own gardens in our own yards and things like that, and helping each other, we could probably sustain ourselves. I'm not saying for a long time and for a
Right.
huge period, but like before we had to export everything in and out, we had to figure out something beforehand. I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with like trying to do that again, like trying, because like when the pandemic hit and we thought like, oh my God, are we not going to be able to get the things that we used to get anymore back on the island? Like that was a fearful thought. But if we all
Yeah.
like started to like build our own gardens and like work through that, that's a possibility that we can sustain off of that.
Well, our other co-host Larry Marshall says, I'm actually still unsure of the answer. I think we all are, Larry. I think we can all be unsure of the answer. I definitely, again, think it's still our people and what. So, Jamal lives in Florida. I live here in Atlanta. There's plenty of Bermudians here in Atlanta. We as a people still, although for whatever reason we may have left the island, still are a valuable asset in that sense of being able to tell people about Bermuda. As much as
Mhm.
people may have left because of whatever is going on with them or how they felt about Bermuda, we still find it within ourselves to be like, it is a beautiful place. It has great pink sand. It has great beaches. It has great food. It has this. They were like, ugh, it's expensive. I don't want to be around Bermudians. that could be in the back of our mind, but it's not something that we definitely present when we're talking about it to people who haven't been there, So it's interesting in regards to how that then comes to the forefront. But we also have, I think, something Renee Simmons is indicating in regards to yourself. We are not only exporting our people, we are also importing other diverse people, which is making our natural cultural change as well. Oh gosh, where's
But is that
Jamal
a bad thing or a good thing? Because like, let's be real, Bermuda needs a higher population count, and getting more people in, like mixing the pot a little, isn't always bad. But yeah, I see from both angles. I don't think it's bad.
Why you all calling me? I'm backstage eating my blackberries, and y'all calling my name. I'm enjoying the conversation.
Well, Jamal, when I
camera, folks, she don't allow me to eat on camera. So, but no, y'all, I love everything you said, especially Maya just now. But then Renee Simmons, I think I'm leaning on the side of Maya as well. Is that a bad thing?
Because
the more people we let go, like we need more people to come in.
I do, but it's that last part of her statement, making our natural culture change, and that part is hard for me when I go to a restaurant and ask a question about Bermuda, and they don't know.
Well, check this, because this was a response, and this is going to turn it on its head right here. Someone said on the Instagram, let me go to the Instagram, because this was a question on our Instagram. And it was interesting. If I can find it, give me how do you find Instagram on my?
But you're funny, Jamal, when you say on the Instagram, sounds very old. On the Instagram.
I'm your age, Sherry. Okay. All right. So somebody answers, what are Bermuda's most valuable assets? It's people, especially the youth. Someone said it's people. Another one said it's people. This person said it's native people and land. But Bermuda has no native people.
Yeah, I mean,
technically speaking, it doesn't have native people. Native people are those who basically, what's the word I'm looking for? Inhabitants. Is that it? Inhabitants. There's no native people to Bermuda. Being born somewhere and being raised in your ancestors, that doesn't make you native to the land. The natives to the United States of America are who? The different tribes who many refer to as Indians and Native Americans, right?
They wouldn't consider St. David's Islanders.
They were not here before.
Yeah.
When did they come? They're not natives. So I think I get what the person's saying. I get what the person's saying. They're basically saying, people are born, raised here, families put all this into the country. I get what you're saying, but the argument from others would say, well, no one's native, because didn't your ancestors or whoever come from, and then they start naming islands, St. Kitts or whatever. So
right.
Yeah, I get the point the person's making, but I guess we have to be clear about that, no?
Yeah. I mean, I get what the person's saying as well.
And history is also only reported from the eyes of the winner most times. So always that's the part that always sucks about learning your history. You can't always trust it.
Underline what she just said. Captain says, good morning to the H family. That is a very good question. I agree with Maya. Moderate climate for planting vacation. Maya, speak more to that, because I missed a bit of it, but I agree with what I heard.
I was talking about the fact that on our island, we can plant all year round. I did go off a bit on a tangent thinking about the pandemic and how we were unsure if we are going to get produce and things back to the island. I think it's worthwhile for us to try to make our own gardens and, sustain ourselves if we can. Like, we don't know what can possibly happen. We're a small island. We need to have our own resources as best as we can. And because we're so lucky and fortunate to have good weather all year round, we should be planting all year round or trying to grow crops, and like it's available to us to do that.
Yeah, it's interesting, because I know we speak of, when we ask questions like what's a course that should be taught in schools, we always talk about financial literacy, and I'm actually always shocked no one says sustainability, because how often does it need to be repeated that Bermuda literally sits in the middle of the Atlantic on its own? And we need to know how to feed ourselves.
Yeah.
We need to know how to grow our own food. To me, that should be a part of the school curriculum. Just because it may not seem normal doesn't mean it shouldn't be there. People, look, if you teach people how to feed themselves, grow their own food, catch their own food, hunt, whatever, you probably have a better chance of not having to educate them to be employed. Because when you're able to feed yourself, you're ticking off a box to say employment is not necessarily going to break me if I lose this job, if that makes sense. So if a person loses their job, at least they, you know what, I can feed myself for the next 6 months to 12 months. I don't have to panic.
Maybe no, it makes real good sense, Jamal, because we do go in a panic. You lose your job, you think of money, you're like, how am I going to feed myself? What am I going to do? And so forth. But if you know how to garden, if you know how to juice, you know how to do all of those kind of things, it allows you to be able to sustain yourself. But they say, teach a man to fish. What's the saying? Something to that effect. Yeah.
If you give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
There you go, Maya.
That one always like travels over your last hands.
Yeah.
You learned?
No,
yes, you learned.
I'm not gonna lie. I remember the saying. I just don't remember the words to it. All right.
But thinking about sustainability, just hanging on to that last conversation. I know that like I did a little quick thing about the eggs and how much it costs in Bermuda, but coming back to like keeping chickens and things like that, it's really not hard, everyone. The only thing that's most expensive is getting a coop. I'll be honest with you. Some coops range between 700 to 1,000, but you could build one if you know a carpenter. Like you could buy some gate and just fence them on, whatever, and then like you have your hens in there and you're good to go. They'll produce like maybe 1 egg a day, and like if they're really good and healthy, 1 egg a day per hen, and they could get more if they wanted to. You have a rooster, they'll produce more. The feed's not expensive, like it's like $8 for a 10-pound bag of feed of layer pellets. So like it's possible and you could do it. And I've seen a lot of people like get into it more, having their own chickens and having their own eggs. So just throwing that out there.
Why am I absolutely loving that Maya combines her background and educates people? Because to me, thinking about owning a chicken is so out there, but it's not.
And it's not.
Would you do it now?
Huh?
Would you do it?
If I had the land, yes. I've always said when I grew up, I had my friends, the Jackson family, former commissioner of police, George Jackson's family, they grew up with goats and all their own animals, right? So I always wanted to live in Georgia and have a farm when I got older. Then I realized I'm probably not that, kind of person to be out there, but that's why you have friends and family who are into that. But no, I've always wanted to this day, I still would do it. It's just a matter of time. And, if we could do this show full time and do this full time, honestly, you guys, you think I wouldn't be? Maya, could you come out quarterly to help me with the goats? And she'd probably say no, but she'll help me find someone who could.
I would definitely say yes. Like, I think it's so crazy because I know that how I grew up. Like, I grew up with all the chickens, all the pigeons, some goats, like ton of rabbits, a whole garden. Like, my family home is that type of like sustainability. So when I moved on and moved out, like I started my own garden too. My mother has the garden up where she stays as well now. Like I go back to my family homestead and there's blackberries, raspberries, there's kale everywhere. Like my papa, I look at Papa, I'm like, do you even go to the shop? Like, I don't think he does, because like, why would you need to when you have eggs in the back and all this produce at the front? And my papa's always just giving me stuff whenever I show up, or my grandma has stuff to give. So it's like that type of lifestyle has been so regular to me that I realized growing up, I was just like, other people don't have chickens in their backyards and pigeons and gardens.
I remember my grandmother and grandfather having a chicken coop and so forth, but it's interesting. Once they passed on, it kind of just faded out. I don't think my mother was into all of that, but I think they grew up around it. But it's interesting how it didn't carry on.
Let's get back to the audience. I think they're feeling left out, folks. What are Bermuda's most valuable assets? We went on about sustainability, but feel free to chime in on that as well, because again, I mean, this tells me that maybe we've let go of some of our most valuable assets. Traveling Trotty says, our culture is changing as many no longer say good morning or good afternoon. shaking my head. Well, yeah, I noticed those habits have picked up on me. I usually, Sherry would say morning and talk to me, and I'll just jump right into the convo route. Blah, 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 blah. I realized like that. Honestly, Sherry, am I lying? Like I've become that person where I respond right into whatever she's asking or talking about. I don't think it's a lack of manners or culture per se. I just think it's fast paced. Like I think we're just moving so fast. Like let's use Maya and I. I'll put the eyes to get her attention, and then she'll, what's up? Like we just communicate. Like we're just so fast in communicating. But to her point, yeah, maybe.
But that's still a form. That's still a form to me of good morning. When you say roots, I'm like, okay. To me, that's still good morning, good afternoon
that's
type of
people.
But like in public and to people that you don't like know. I think that's mainly what that comment was focusing on. Like when you see people and you walk by people, morning, like, and you, like, I don't even know if I hear that too often. Granted, I'm not in town too often, but at Noah's Ark, I am like the good morning attacker. That's what my coworkers say. Everyone that comes to that door, morning. Like that is literally me. I don't let nobody go by.
In my defense, and I've said this before on this show, New York ruined me, man. New York ruined me. I think even here in Florida is, you almost feel like are they, and it's not even a matter of you're thinking about are they going to say it back or not. You're thinking, are they going to be offended? Are they going to chat? You know what I'm saying? It's really it's hard. I mean, you don't want to lose that culture, but I'll never forget when I worked in Bermuda tourism. I took a sign. It was a picture of a sign in Dockyard that says, "We say good morning here," right? And I took it and I showed that picture to a non-Bermudian working in the Bermuda tourism office who literally had no freaking manners, didn't adapt to our culture, nothing. I said, "Hey, this is for you." And she laughed. And I said, "But I'm serious. You look, I don't go into my office and expect them to be me. I'm still flabbergasted that people can work in a space and not acknowledge each other. Like that's new to me. But I think that is an asset. Our culture, our manners, is an asset. Let's go through these last few comments, guys. Manuel or John sharing.
Our most valuable asset is our people, but if the people do not show the love and respect to encourage us and visitors, the chance is lost. We have allowed external influences to guide us.
Well, would you agree? External influences? I think we have. I think we love this argument that the rest of the world's done this or doing that when the rest of the world hasn't done or isn't doing stuff. I think Bermudians, we have I said this to myself the other day. I talk to myself while I'm driving. I turn the music off and I just have conversations. You all should try it. It's really, cool. Yeah, it makes you feel better.
Do you answer yourself?
No. I just have a conversation. And I said, self, I think Black conservatives are the most confused group of people on the planet. And then I said, but self, Black liberals are the most hypocritical people on the planet. Then I said, self, where does that leave me? And you know where I felt it left me? Where I'm comfortable being, on an island, waiting for others to come over. We have got to stop trying to fit into these labels and trying to be like everyone else. Because when we do that, when we fall in line with what already exists, that's when we lose our self of being. That's when we lose our culture. That's when we become something that collectively we don't even really want to be. But it's popular. It makes us feel good. That's my opinion. You all should try talking to yourself. It's okay. Mari, y'all's comment?
Exporting our people at the same or higher rate than those we are importing doesn't help our economy or the preservation of our long-standing culture.
Yeah.
Renee Simmons says it's not a bad thing because we need a population, but we are losing our culture. So we have to give and take because what we used to have as a people will not be a valuable asset. Yes, Maya, I think that's to the fish thing that we spoke about. Give a man a fish and feed him and all that stuff. I'm just putting a plug in. They're all agreeing with you. We've got to get to the news break, folks. But I'll tell you what, honestly, I know it sounds cliche at this point. I think the most valuable asset that Bermuda has is its people. I know we had some people saying the ocean, which is a part of the environment. And I think that our environment, you know, I say it all the time on this show. When I worked in tourism, people used to get excited about how clean Bermuda was. And then Maya does a story last year to show what the bathrooms look like at one of our most pristine beaches. So, you know, that's one of our most valuable assets. But we have to take care of our assets. We have to take care of our environment. We have to take care of our people. I'm just saying. Michelle White says Bermuda's culture is based on the people who are here. We are a melting pot. Problems exist when we choose to select only one group to represent us. Manners is our must-have. Melting pot. New York City is a melting pot. Bermuda in certain industries is a melting pot. I think the problem with Bermuda, though, is unlike New York and some big cities across the world, in the United Arab Emirates and other places, is Bermuda's size. Those places can take care of their locals and still have some for others. Bermuda hasn't proven to be able to do the same. I think that's probably the difference. Maya, you want to do news break?
I would love to do a news break.
Well, folks, as you can see, I had a little computer trouble. So while I was backstage, I was cheating. I was eating my breakfast. So I was just, you know, the ladies were having a good conversation. I was going to sit back and just enjoy. But then, you know, my I've just had to join the convo. But let's get over to the news break before Maya shuts off my camera. She can do that, folks. She can.
I can too.
Stick with us.
Well, good morning, everyone. This is the Daily Hour News Break brought to you by People's Pharmacy. And I just want to wish everyone that they had a really great Easter Sunday. And if you have any pictures, please share them, because I did not go out and get enough pictures. But there wasn't many kites up in the sky because the wind wasn't that strong, unfortunately. But still a good Easter nonetheless.
Well, did you have a kite, Maya?
I did have a kite, but it did not fly.
Oh.
I gave up real quick.
Nothing more to ask.
Nothing more to ask. Start out with the news this morning. I'm actually going to give you guys some Carifta updates. There's been a lot going on out there. Again, here's our team that went away. This is our Carifta team, and some updates for you guys right now is, got my photo, Kawazi Sealy. So he secured Bermuda's first medal of the 2023 Carifta Games. He placed second in the under 20 boys 1500 meter at a time of 4 minutes, 6 seconds, 34 microseconds. And then the first place winner was just like literally a second above him. So he had a really intense run, a really tight match, and he placed and got the silver for Bermuda.
Oh,
congratulations. How many laps is 1500? One lap's 400?
Yeah, one lap is 400. 1500 is like 3 and a little bit, I think, or it's a little bit in 2. I know it starts at the far end corner of.
Come on, Larry. Let us know what it is.
Man, props to the brother.
It's like 3.5, I think, or like 3 and a 3/4.
Yeah.
Used to run it. Anyway,
yeah.
Moving on to the next medalist that we have, and this is first I've actually heard about octathlon. That's how I want to pronounce it right now. But Jawaza James secured Bermuda's second medal of the 2023 Carifta Games. He placed third in the under 20 boys octathlon. I'm gonna have Marshall come and say it correctly tomorrow, whenever he's on. But the definition is a competition that consists of 8 events total. It's the 100 meter, a long jump, 110 meter hurdles, high jump, 400 meters, shot put, javelin throw, and the 1500 meter, all together in this one competition. And he placed third place.
Isn't that the event I asked someone the other day what it is? And they on the show, I asked someone on the show what that event was, and they said it's like, come on, Jamal, it's like 8 events. And I'm like, my goodness, 8
all I knew was 8 events. I couldn't tell you what the events were, but I was at Octa. I was like, it's got to be 8.
Yeah,
that much I got.
Once upon a time, I remember in high school, I ran the 1500, and then I was doing the high jump right next to it. I couldn't even get over the first bar. It was over for my legs. I was like, I don't know how he's doing it, because that is immense. Oh. That is so much strength. That's so much strength to do all those events. For real.
Yeah, I enjoy watching it though.
Yeah, Definitely. Next up here, we have the under-17s 4x100 women's relay. That's our team there underneath the names, and they placed a time of 48.12. They secure Bermuda's third medal of the Quifter 2023 games, and they placed third in their heat.
I mean, they just doing the thing. They just doing the thing. And Tamara said it. It was that one. I'm not pronouncing it. That one with the H. Yeah.
Is that 9?
Yeah. How many is that, Tamara? But no, congrats to the young ladies. Third place, and maybe I can do a relay because I can hide my lack of speed in if it's 3 other people as long as I have.
You cannot.
No.
You cannot hide your lack of speed. Sorry.
Oh Lord. At least he does one. But not trying to hide any reports here. I know Tamara's watching. So Jamaica actually did place above Bermuda, but they got disqualified, and Bermuda captured the third place medal for us.
Oh no, they got disqualified.
They got disqualified. Next up was the mixed 4x400 meter. Now, all these reports, I do want to give a huge shout out to Bermuda Track News on Instagram. They definitely keep up with the track information of all our athletes in Bermuda, even out there in college, universities, and their personal best. So they always post that out. So this came from their reports. And the mixed 4x400 meter, this was the first ever mixed 4x400 open at the Quifter Games. They did place a new national record, and our team placed 7th out of the entire group. So unfortunately, we didn't win, but we did get a new national record since this was the first ever mixed 4x400 open at the Quifter Games.
I wonder how they balanced that out.
We're coming. Don't worry. We're coming.
Okay.
Next up, with more Quifter, the swimming team is actually away right now as well. Though they are not in Bahamas with the team, they are somewhere else in Syracuse. And they have secured about 7 medals so far, just off of their swimming events. In this photo here, you see Elena Fulton and Molly, and they have placed incredibly good stats. You see Howie has secured 2 silver medals, and Fulton has secured a bronze. There's other athletes within their group who've also secured medals, obviously, since as of April 8th. As we report on the Bird News, they've secured 7 total medals. So they're really conquering out there in the swimming heats that they're doing. So big ups to these up. It's even a group of sisters who are competing together, Bermudians, and they are placing very well together too.
Look, I'm just crazy because we've been talking about Bermuda's most valuable assets, and no one said our athletes. No one said our athletes. I mean, we literally, look, Jamaica, I've always said Jamaica punches above their weight, right? Not just sports. Take sports out of it. Music. Jamaica has a whole genre of music that is global. Japan, Europe, right? Not even this side of the world, global. Then you take their athletes. The fastest people in the world have come from Jamaica. Traditionally growing up, it was the United States. Jamaica, small island, 2 million people. Bermuda, 60,000, 21 square miles. I know people may think, oh, but they're not in the top league or not. Bermuda punches well above its weight for its size. I'm a firm believer in that. And I do believe that, Flora Duffy, Dame Flora, is number 1 in her sport. I know people may say, oh, well, how many people are competing in that sport versus other sports? That don't matter. Being number 1 in something in the world. What, 6 billion, 7 billion people? Right? I don't know.
I think we're at 8 now, but
yeah, that number been changed. People having babies over there. But anyway, you get what I'm saying? I think we've done well. So I do think that some of our most valuable assets specifically are our athletes. I do.
I agree, especially with the big names that they're making out there for themselves, as well as even our artists out there. Like when I think of Caitlin Castle and how much she's like kind of influenced and kept showing off Bermuda, Wells as well out there. And yeah, I feel like anytime we get an athlete or even an artist who's out there, like wherever they are, whoever they're with now, they've gained a whole new following of Bermuda fans. And, we just keep like enriching their, their sport and their talent. So yeah, I would say definitely our musicians, our athletes.
And when I think about exporting people, maybe we're exporting Connor Smith, who's now going to be a coach of a soccer team in Rhode Island. Maybe we're exporting the talents of a Kaylin Castle, Shiona Torini, right? That's what I think, exporting the greatest talents so that Bermudians can be showcased on the highest and biggest and best stages. But Thank you for that, Maya, because I honestly didn't know where we were going, but these sports stories make me feel good. They make me feel really good because I don't think we celebrate our athletes as much as we can. I think we,
No.
unfortunately, and maybe we're guilty of this as well, we spend more time trying to solve the problems our politicians appear to do than celebrating our people. And I think we need to find a balance.
Indeed, agreed. Oh, next up on my list here, Easter holiday sobriety checkpoints. So on Friday, April 7th, police reported that although roadside sobriety checkpoints had been made clear to the community, it still occurred. 5 people were arrested for driving under the influence on the very first night of the checkpoints. There has been no further checkpoint updates since that report that they posted as of this morning. However, on Saturday, Inspector Shakisha Miners released a video stating that the feedback over the holidays has been positive and there were no significant incidents reported to the police over the holiday weekend. So that's some really positive news.
I know, folks, if you follow us on our social media channels, you saw the video of Maya, last week on the show about not drinking and driving.
Yeah.
And she doesn't want to report on her about an accident or a fatality. I don't think it's nothing to celebrate, but I'm happy, legit happy, that we've had an incident-free holiday, because as someone said the other day, Bermudians, we went from January to April with no holidays. Now it's about to be a holiday every month until what, October, right? So this was a good start. Let's keep it going.
Yes, please, let's keep it going. Now, last thing I want to report, because it wasn't reported on Friday, we all had Good Friday, but there was a report that came in on Good Friday around 4:15 p.m. That happened on the Wednesday, the 5th of April. Police received a report of gunshots heard in the area of Elliott Primary School. You may have heard about this report. Officers immediately attended the scene and spoke with persons present. However, there were no obvious signs that firearm incidents occurred in the area. But while the officers were at the scene, they heard what they believed to be more gunshots in the east of Elliott Primary. Officers suspected the gunshots may have been coming from the nearby Trap and Skeet shooting range. Further investigations confirmed that the Trap and Skeet range was indeed active, and that was the cause of the shootings that originally was heard.
Interesting.
So, audience, let us know, yes or no. Did you know Bermuda had a, what's it called, Trap and Skeet?
Trap and Skeet shooting range.
Did you know Bermuda had a Trap and Skeet shooting range? Because I saw people on social media saying, shouldn't this be something the public should know about? First time I'm hearing about this. But yes or no, did you know Bermuda had a Trap and Skeet range? Did you all know?
I did not know. And from the report, I would have thought that if it was like illegal or not known, they would have definitely said it in the police report. But yeah, it's something definitely to follow up on. And I most likely will after the conversation we're having today, because I did not realize that. They did say that we would like to thank the public for their vigilance and bringing this matter to our attention, thus allowing us to speedily address their concerns and allay any fears. So good to know more about this and what the laws are behind a Trap and Skeet shooting range.
And how active has it been? Like
that as well. How active is it?
Well, apparently, according to our audience, Karen Simmons says no, she didn't know about it. Traveling Trotty, no. Tanya Cheeseman, no. Well, we have a yes. Lydia Simmons says yes, she knew. Michelle White says no. Ebony Souza said she knew. Nicole Walker says no. Where exactly is it? Do you know, Maya?
Well, it was around Elliott Primary School, so I suspect in that area, because that's where they heard it when they showed up to the area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Samcat Place, what is it? And Renee Simmons says yes. I was going to take up shooting. Mario Santucci said yes, and Marcia Robin Patrice Bradshaw says no. She says it's behind St. Mary's, I believe, so that would be up in the Prospect area. That's far from Elliott, though.
So my only thought is that I knew of somebody who belonged to a gun shooting club, but I only thought that because they were part of the regiment that it was part of that. So I didn't realize that it was a whole possible separate entity. Now I need to go back and ask them exactly that part of it. So
I'll do my due diligence and follow up with the police report here to get some information for Wednesday's broadcast.
Thank you. Thank you. How's the weather looking?
Oh, the weather's looking really gloomy outside, and I cannot stand it, to be quite honest. But it's cloudy and wet start, but hopefully some drier and sunnier periods later on in the day. But it's not looking too nice. So make sure you have your raincoat and drive safely when you're on those roads. And we have a high of 68 degrees Fahrenheit. So it's really taken literally night and day from yesterday's beautiful sunshine in the morning. But it definitely poured hard last night. So still got
I
the
mean,
rain.
you all had a great Good Friday. I mean, you can't have it all. You know, you got to balance. It's called balance. Like, you know, work life, weather balance. Yeah.
I would like to choose goodness all the time. I don't want to have to balance my
Yeah, I know, Maya, that you sound like me. I want to eat potato chips and fries every day and just still be good and fit and, you know, be able to.
Healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Sherry, you got days of the year for us, right? What you got?
I do. If you have a sibling, then this is your day. It's Siblings Day. It would be difficult to contest the fact that the bond between siblings is extra special. Extra special. Siblings are your best friends and sometimes our worst enemies, especially because many of them have spent most of their entire lives together. Many people can't even remember a time when their siblings weren't part of their lives. So, Siblings Day is a way of honoring a special bond that happens within families. Brothers and sisters share life together from childhood into adulthood and even into old age. It's time to celebrate your sibling today. Does anybody claim you as a sibling, Jamel?
Yeah. How many siblings do you have, Sherry?
I have 3. So I want to say happy Siblings Day to my sister, Marcia Robin Patrice Bradshaw. And I have 2 younger brothers, William and Alan Patterson.
How many
Happy
siblings do you have, Maya?
I have 3.
Oh, so we all have 3 siblings. Interesting.
Interesting.
Well, I'll wait on my siblings to tell me happy sibling. Yeah. Yeah, they could
They
tell me.
probably ain't gonna do that.
Yeah.
They won't know.
Are you the oldest, Maya?
No, I'm the youngest of my moms, and then my dad has another daughter in his new marriage.
Oh, okay. Sherry, are you the oldest?
No, so it's kind of 2 sets. My mom with my dad. I'm the youngest with my sister, and then my mom with my 2 younger brothers. I'm in the middle.
Okay. So we're all kind of middle. We're all kind of in the middle some way.
I'm the youngest.
Yeah. Okay. She's Maya's the youngest. Well, you know what? I do wonder. Is there anyone in the audience who's an only child? Let us know. Are you an only child? We're going to take a quick break. Come back because I want to know. When growing up, I heard people who were only children say, "Man, I love it. I had more gifts, Christmas, like stuff like that." But then I'm like, you miss having somebody to fight with and like, come on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. Maybe they.
And one last thing, Jamal, today is also Tamara Day.
What?
Tamara Day, the name Tamara Day.
Oh, really?
Yes,
It
and you have to
is?
shout it.
Is it
Yes.
spelled like Tamara?
Oh, they got that.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay,
well,
Tamara.
happy Tea Day, I guess. You know, Tamara, happy Tamara Day, because I mean, I never heard of a Jamal Day. We don't need a Sherry one. Maya, have a wonderful day. We'll see you soon.
Bye, guys.
All right, folks, do not go anywhere. We're going to take a quick break, come back, but we're going to ask that question. Now that you have heard that extensive news cast by Maya, we want to know, do you feel Bermudian athletes are valuable assets that we need to celebrate? Stick with us.
People's ACW, located at King Edward VII Memorial Hospital, carries over-the-counter medicines, toys, cards, and even toiletries. Our knowledgeable staff are there whether you're at emergency, visiting family, or a member of BHB staff, to show you our best even when you're feeling your worst. People's ACW, we're here for you.
Welcome to the new bulk store, Lindo's Next Level. Wake up in the morning with enough coffee to keep you running throughout the entire day. Your pet at home deserves the best. Stock up on dog food to keep your puppy happy. Need a quick, tasty lunch at home? Your chicken nuggets will be jumping right out of the freezer. What's a movie night without popcorn? You can never have too much. Lindo's Next Level. Why go anyplace else?
Mom's celebrating her 70th birthday next month. Have you noticed her age is catching up with her?
Yeah. Plus, she's having a hard time getting up and around like she's used to. I would sure hate to see her fall.
At Medical House Limited, we can help make life situations easier. We have electric beds, motorized scooters, bath stools, walkers, you name it.
Mom's been real good to us. We'll get her birthday and Christmas gifts from Medical House.
Medical House has relocated next to the Dandytown Field, number 6 Bakery Lane, Pembroke. Telephone 292-3622.
Welcome back to the big show. Sherry Vanderpool, I'm Jamal Hartman. It's the Daily Hour brought to you by the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy. Don't forget to subscribe on our website, thedailyhour.com, and follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Folks, we asked the question before we went to break. Well, first off, Auntie Karen says, yes, she's a middle to 3 brothers and 1 sister. So she's a middle. Okay, all right. And we've got some only children. Charmaine Richardson says, me, I'm an only child. What was it like as an only child, Charmaine? Marcia Bradshaw, right back at you, Cher. I don't know what she's talking about.
Me.
The good sisters doing too much. No. Sheikah Rana says, I'm an only child. Okay, Sheikah. What was it like? What was it like? What was it like? We want to know this. We want to know what it was like. Mark Arthur C. Phillips has also become a member of YouTube on the YouTube channel. Yes, folks, you want to do that. This is not a threat. It's a promise that we will be evolving. May 4th is an anniversary for this show. If you aren't already, you want to hit that join button. Thank you for that, Mark Arthur C. Phillips. You want to hit the join button. I just saw we have some really good people coming up as well, but you want to hit the join button as we go into May 4th, which would be the 3rd year for this show. Just hit join. That's I don't know how many times I have to say, but thank you for the reminder, Mark Arthur C. Phillips. Become an official member of the TDH community by joining us, our channel on YouTube. Once you join, you'll have that little sign next to your name that Mark Arthur C. Phillips has. So check it out. All right, folks, real quickly. So we spoke about what's Bermuda's most valuable assets. I think we all agree that it's people are the most valuable asset, right? Michelle White says, I'm the only daughter of 4. Does that count to be the only child? That depends. Did your brothers rough you up? But do we value our athletes enough? Do we celebrate them, or do we wait until they reach a certain stage before we begin celebrating them? Like, Sherry, what are your thoughts? Do you think we celebrate our athletes and entertainers as well? Like, I mean, Maya said it, Kaylin Castle. Kaylin Castle's doing some things out there. Do we show appreciation? Is it in our culture to do that?
Well, I don't think that we celebrate them enough as far as our athletes or entertainers. And I don't think that's done until they've reached the highest level. I think we miss the in-between portions of how they got to where they were, and our support for that. We have plenty of entertainers. You know, I have a love for Damon DeGraff, and we don't know much about him. Kaylin Castle, we know some things about her, but we still haven't followed her journey as well as we should. And there's others. So no, we don't celebrate them until they get to Dame Flora Duffy, or she's on the Olympic stage. What did she do before that? Do we even know?
People forget on Front Street Mile and stuff. Yeah, they forget. So I agree.
Yeah, so we don't, even like Nikki Wells, and he said it in his video the other day. We know where he started.
That's something I learned that day when Maya did that video. A lot of people always thought Nikki Wells, Dandytown.
Right.
And he said that. I was like, man, I did not know he started at Wolves. Like, I mean, the way Dandytown claimed him as well was like, Wolves what? So good. That's a perfect example. Very good example.
Those things. And then, when you look at the different even areas of sports, cricket, sailing, cycling, tennis, so forth. Like, who are the emerging athletes in those areas? And we don't find out until they are on a stage and WhatsApp messages are going around saying X, Y, and Z. Are we going to remember Kazai Sealy? Are we going to remember that, or do we just hold on to them for this moment? So I think we need to be consistent in supporting these athletes when they're just not on, bigger stages, but even our local, and that is nurturing our people as an asset, a valuable asset, along with it being them being an athlete.
Yeah. Larry Marshall Jr. Says, I knew Wolves all day. I mean, we got these biased people in the audience. Mark Arthur C. Phillips says, we only celebrate our athletes and entertainers once they make it big on the international stage. And that's not how it should be. We should be supporting them, helping them to get to that stage. Because the crazy thing is, once they get to a certain space, then we not only want to celebrate them, but we want them to help us do something, right? We want to, like, oh, can you fly the flag for Bermuda? Can we do this? Can you do that? No, support them now. You know, I was shocked that someone who has been on this show a number of times to celebrate what they're doing globally said, we're the only media company that shows them love, right? I said, and I looked, I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it, right? But we're going to ride. If it's one thing we're going to do on the Daily Hour is we're going to ride for our people, folks. We will ride for you. She ran about being an only child. She says, nobody to blame for anything, not even my cousins, but Sheikah, this the thing. That means you had to take accountability at a young age. No. You got to shift it somewhere else. But nah.
I was going to say, I grew up with around Sheikah, and Sheikah toed the line.
One there, Charmaine Richardson says, you can't miss what you didn't have. I was content and enjoying spending quiet time even now. Well, you
Didn't
are
know that.
our sister, Charmaine Richardson. Hope you accept me as a brother. You ain't got to accept Sherry as a sister. Folks, we're going to take one last break. Come back, give you the daily play. We're also going to give you the daily inspiration before you head off. But if you enjoyed today's conversation and discussion, please give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Make sure you share these conversations with your friends, your family, your colleagues. We want to know what's Bermuda's most valuable assets, but not only what are our most valuable assets, how can we make the most of our most valuable assets for the benefit of Bermuda and its people. So give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. And as Mark Arthur C. Phillips said earlier, make sure you hit the join button, become an official member of our YouTube channel. It's easy and it's not costly. Trust me. You spent more with companies and businesses that do very little for you. Why not join us? Just being honest. Stick with us. Don't go anywhere.
Hi, welcome to ER Fisheries. I'm Jalen Steed, store manager and trained chef, and I'm here to help you with all of your food needs. Let's talk about why you should come and check out ER Fisheries. We offer the widest range of specialty meats and seafood items at a price point that will absolutely fit your budget. As a chef, I'm able to answer all of your food questions, help you come up with meal ideas, and generally guide you in the right direction. You'll get a custom shopping experience unlike any other food store in Bermuda, where we'll cater to your needs and provide you with excellent customer service. Where else can you get quality cooking advice and quality products? I look forward to helping you with all your meal ideas.
Thanks again to the BAC Group of Companies, Medical House Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. Folks, again, if you appreciated today's conversation, give us a thumbs up, a love, a like. Is Tamara an only child too?
Sounds as if.
I played games by myself at home. I didn't know that. I did not know that. All right. Well, you know, Charmaine, I think she's accepting my brotherhood. Look, folks, it's time for the Daily Play brought to you by Bermuda Trivia, now available at stores throughout Bermuda. Follow Bermuda Trivia on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok to find out why it's Bermuda's favorite trivia game. Did you see the video with Mr. Photogenic and Fireween?
I did.
Yeah. Folks, he said cinnamon instead of Corey bean and fish cakes, but he fixed it.
He did.
He fixed it. He was thinking buns. You got to listen to the question, Mr. Fire. All right. All right. All right. All right. Sherry, it's your turn. Are you ready?
No, but go ahead.
All right. Big sports weekend just went by. Quote, days when you just don't have it. You don't pack it in. You give it everything you've got. You grind it out. End quote. An athlete that withdrew from their sporting event this weekend.
This weekend, Jamal? Oh my dear. Football? Soccer, like football? Tiger Woods?
Everybody had to tell you. Everybody had to tell you.
I know the Masters is playing today. Was playing or is playing or whatever the case may be, and it's actually here in Georgia, right? But it's in Augusta. I do know that, but I can't. Like Jason was watching it, but I was doing fish cakes and different things. Yeah, he still watched it.
No, but you didn't know Tiger withdrew.
I didn't. We didn't have a conversation.
In Georgia.
He usually feeds me information, and we didn't talk about it today. He was excited Manchester United won.
Yeah, about time. Yeah, so Tiger Woods said it, quote, and it's real. There's a real quote. Days when you just don't have it, you don't pack it in. You got to give it everything you've got. Grind it out, end quote. That is Eldridge Tiger Woods for you. Final thoughts on today's show, Sherry. We've got Bermuda's most valuable assets. What do you think?
As I said it before, I think our people are still our most valuable assets, but we definitely have to nurture them on an ongoing basis for them to continue that. And in all areas, I think you made a valid point in regards to our athletes, our entertainers, and so forth. We have to nurture our people in all areas so that they continue to be those assets. I also like what Maya said in regarding our sustainability being an asset for Bermudians as well. So that's something that still needs to be nurtured. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I get it when people say we're losing our culture. I completely do, because even though there's no true native to Bermuda, there are people who have been there for a long time who have created a culture. And I'll say it now that on Saturday, I went to scroll social media, and someone who had recently moved to the UK shared pictures, and I was like, "Wow, are all these people now living in the UK?" Right? I was like, it was crazy to me, because you just don't know. Obviously, me not living in Bermuda. But here's what a friend of mine said to me. He moved to the US when we were teens, back in the mid-90s. And let me know your thoughts on this, or have a think on what he said. We were talking about the amount of people who have left Bermuda, which we believe is Bermuda's most valuable assets. And he said, well, when you think about it, the people who remain are those who mostly have a homestead. The people who leave are more likely to not have a homestead. Now, I don't have any stats to back it up. But when he said that, it made me think. And I looked in one of my chat groups, said, yes, homestead, every last person. Business. It makes you wonder. Why aren't we valuing keeping Bermudians in Bermuda? What are they leaving for? Sherry and Jamal are not in Bermuda, but we're still contributing. We're still Bermudians. I think we have a lot to be proud of as Bermudians, our environment and our people. And just because we don't love our government doesn't mean that we don't love our country. I say it over and over and over. Sherry, you've got some daily inspiration for us?
I do. Today's inspirational quote is being brought to you by ER Fisheries. Always make a total effort, even when the odds are against you. And this is from Arnold Palmer, professional famous golfer.
Oh, so you knew Arnold Palmer was a golfer, and you didn't think drink first like an Arnold Palmer lemonade and what is it, iced tea?
Iced tea. So I went. Oh my goodness, Jamal! I was ever heard chocolate. I was like, of all inspiration.
But she didn't.
I love her Arnold Palmer.
We gave her a hint about Tiger Woods. We said withdrew from his sporting event, folks. But see, this is what happens when you don't communicate with the man. Shay. Yeah, whatever. Happy Siblings Day, Sister Sherry.
Thank you, Jamal. Happy Siblings Day to you as well.
All right, folks. Don't forget to subscribe on our website. Follow us on all of our social media channels to stay up to date with all that we have going on. Help us grow beyond the mic as we continue to do our part to improve our community. Thanks again to the BAC group of companies, Medical House, Lindos, and People's Pharmacy for ensuring that we're able to do this with you on a daily basis. As always, we appreciate you, we love you, and we thank you for making us part of your daily routine. If all goes well, we'll be back to do this again with you tomorrow. She's Sherry Vanderpool. I'm Jamel Hartman. Please do make it a safe and a great day. Happy Monday. Happy week.